All right, now I'm going to share my screen again. All right. So we're using the cleaned marketing data from the database file. Local nonprofit, they list out, we've got 2 targets. Donations last year and amount donated last year. Average gift over the last 36 months, most recent gift, so forth. They want us to check that the level of all variables are interval, and then we have dim gender, dim homeowner ID, status cat 96NK, and target B all set to nominal. So just so we say we're doing it, I have everything set to interval except for target B, dim gender, status cat 96NK, ID, and dim homeowner. So then, if you're all, if you're okay with it, I'm just going to keep the document off to the side.
Do you mind going back to that real quick?
What's that?
Do you mind going back to the edit variables real quick?
Edit variables.
Okay, sorry. It's because yours was aligned differently than mine.
Okay. All right. And I still have target B and target D are both targets.
Yep, got that too.
All right. So then the next step, it says create a new diagram with the decision tree homework, import the clean marketing data, make the changes, and then remember to connect the SAS code node to the file import to ensure the training and validation data sets are treated appropriately. So what I did was in the SAS code node, I went to code editor and I went back to the KNN model from last week and copied that SAS code because it has the validation and training data accounted for in this if-else statement. I pasted that in there and ran it. I'll run it again, just for giggles. And okay. Now that that's done, I went over here to exported data, click on the ellipsis, and I see that I have training data and validate data. So then it says prepare 4 models. Decision tree model with 2 branches, 6 deep. And I put that in here. I brought that, I went up to model and decision tree, dragged 2 of those down. I called one 2 branches, 6 deep, and I called the other one 4 branches, 12 deep. And for each of them, the 2 branches, 6 deep, it already defaults 2 branches, maximum depth 6. But for the 4 branches, 12 deep, I had to change it 4 branches, maximum depth 12. I did not make any other changes. I'm not aware of any other changes that need to be made. Anybody else have anything that I should have done? I'm feeling all right about that. All right, so then it wanted a gradient boosting. So for gradient boosting, where did I go for that? Model, yeah, back still in model. I brought down gradient boosting and attached to that same SAS code. Now, originally I had this HP forest from HPDM. I brought in the HP Forest, and I had it connected to that model, to that SAS code node, like hyum and hyum. So when I ran it, I did like I did like the previous model, and I brought in the control node, the control panel, or control point, and ran all 4 models from that control point like this, just so I can replicate what I did. And then I ran the model comparison for the miscalculation rate of the validation data.
I think for that one, you need to change your settings.
Okay.
Your selection statistic needs to be misclassification, and you need to use the validation table.
That's right. Yeah, I spaced on that one. Thank you. Misclassification rate and change train to validation.
Yep.
Thank you, Scott. That may account for.
I had the same problem earlier.
Yeah. All right. So run that. Did you set yours up the same way with all 4 of these connected to the SAS? And did you use a control point? Is this similar to how you constructed it? Okay, cool. All right, so then for the results, I have these numbers right here, that the 4 branch 12 deep is the preferred model, and my misclassification rate is 0.41347. Do these numbers jive with what you guys have?
Yeah, it matches mine.
Okay. And strangely enough, they match what I had previously, even without the misclassification and the validation. So I kind of lucked out, but I'm not sure how that's possible. I guess just good modeling, huh? All right. So then the next part, I took a screenshot of this for number 2, and I took a screenshot of my diagram for number 1, just as it is right here. So then for number 3, it's asking for the confusion matrix data for HP Forest, gradient boosting, 4 branch 12 deep, and 2 branch 6 deep. So what I did there was I scrolled down. Did I scroll down? I think I scrolled down. Yeah, right here. And for all 4 of those, for HP Forest, I chose I was looking at the validation data, and I entered in these numbers: 528, 730, 480, and 683. And I'll bring that. Oh, gotta stop doing that. Did anybody get anything different? Did you have a different approach, or did you do what I did, where I for HP Forest validation data, and then for gradient boosting, I used these validation numbers. And then for 4 branch 12 deep, I use these numbers. And then for 2 branch 60, I use those numbers. Are those right? Yeah. 2 branch 12, 728, 904, 306, 43. And then the misclassification rates here, I got those from that, from right here, from this column.
I got different numbers.
Yeah, for some reason, my first two are switched from yours.
When you say switch, that they're
Like
the-
on your table, your the misclassification rate on the right in the document that you have for your forest, I have for my gradient, and vice versa. That's kind of weird. I'll check that out. That's probably my
Okay.
mistake.
I have my numbers are close to yours, Tony, but not exactly.
I saw that from the text message, but I knew that we were off by like, 20 points or something like that, all across that top row for the HP forest, but everything else was good, right? It's just that HP forest was different, which is why I had gone back to my model and thought maybe I should break that out and bring it down here by itself and run it that way. Did you do that, or Christian, is yours set up like this as well?
Mine is set up like that, except I don't think it matters, but I only connected the decision trees to the control point. And then from the control point, I connect.
So the gradient and the HP force are not connected to the control point?
Correct. But I don't think that matters because either way, they're still going to be.
Yeah, they're still going to run.
Yeah, they're still going to be comparison time.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna fret too much over that number 3. Number 4 is asking to calculate the profit for each of the models, ignoring opportunity costs. Show your calculations to support your answer. So calculating profit for each of the models.
Yeah, I took that as basically the same thing that we did with logistic regression lab. And what she always says is like, keep it simple, right? So profit is revenue minus cost. And so I don't know if I approached this correctly, but I took the confusion matrix stuff and said like, hey, just like we did with the logistic regression lab, like we want to know how many times we said someone was good credit, and how much does that cost, or how much did that get us, versus how much when they had bad credit but we still said they were good, and how much did that cost us. And then we got the difference to basically say this was how much money I'm making, and use that kind of similar model. So it's hard to, I guess I can.
Yeah, you want to share your screen?
I guess. Let's see. Let me maximize that. Go back to this. I got so much stuff open. All right. I'm not sure if I did it right, but this is kind of where my thought logic was. Using kind of this formula of true positive. So they were a donor and we identified them as a donor, times the average donation amount, which you put in the instructions. Subtract that from our true positives times the mailing costs, and then subtract out false positives, people that we send something to, or what they're non-donors, but we identify them as donor, which means we make no money from them. Since they don't donate, it only costs us the mailing cost. And so that kind of broke that down into this kind of table here, where, let me scroll, get rid of this little chat bar, right? So for example, for the HP forest, our true positive, so donor is donor and was correctly identified as donor, multiply that by that, then the same thing by the cost, and then you get you know, basically after this is how much money we would make. Using an average donation, this is how much it would cost us to mail, which means this is how much revenue we should expect. And then kind of did the same thing for the false positives, right? So 480,
Okay.
right? Multiply that by 0 because we make no money, right? So that's just for showing the math, but we still cost us money to send them stuff. So this is just going to cost us money. And then at the end, you get like, here's your expected profit. So I
yeah.
use that, and then you can kind of compare the 4 to say like, this is the expected profit, similar to what she made us do with the logistic regression,
Yeah.
with that net positive value, net profit value, whatever. It's just kind of adapting it to this. So that was my approach. I don't know if it's right.
I had a similar thought. And
I
then
think
whenever she says ignoring opportunity costs, that means to ignore the false or the true negative and the false negative, right?
I'm not sure exactly what she meant with the ignoring opportunity costs, to be honest with you.
Well, ignore opportunity cost means I think it means like money that you could have made, and in that case, I think they're talking about the false negatives because they could have been potential donors.
There's a difference between opportunity cost
Gotcha.
and sunk cost. Now,
Yep.
an opportunity cost is the money that you forego making because you choose to do something else. But a sunk cost is the money that has to go into the thing in the first place. So the mailing, all that stuff, that is a sunk cost. I wouldn't classify that as an opportunity cost. I don't think you can negate that. I think Scott's got a really good approach right there. Now, maybe it's something we need to get clarification from her on as to what she's calling an opportunity cost, just so we know for sure. But to me, he's accounting for the revenue plus the opportunity plus the sunk cost, or revenue minus sunk cost to get the actual profit.
Yeah, kind of what she says. Keep it simple. Every time I try to make it complicated and read too much into what I think she wants us to do, I always get it wrong.
Yeah. I'll get some clarification from her on that if y'all want me to. But I think Scott really is on the right track with that approach.
I'll stop sharing again.
Yeah.
It's been years since I took my MBA, so everything that I'm telling you about sunk costs and opportunity costs, I mean, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But
yeah, tell me about it. Every time she puts a question in that has like requires marketing domain knowledge, I just kind of like face palm. I'm like, I don't know this. Like, this is not my industry.
This is usually where I go crying to Megan because she's all about the marketing side of this. All right, so that's good. I'm going to approach number 4 that same way. So then number 5 is the model with the largest profit the same model as the one selected with the best misclassification rate. Okay, I'm not fit to answer these questions yet. But the approach, if we go by the approach that Scott just pointed out, the largest profit with the best, aka lowest misclassification rate. Scott, did you see a correlation in your results between the model from what I remember, the best model they said was the 4 branches, and that had the lowest misclassification. Did you get the highest profit from the 4 branch 12D?
No, the highest profit came from the forest.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember. Oh, and I think my answer to that question, again, I don't know if it's right or not. I just kind of said they're looking at 2 different things, right? Like if we're looking at misclassification, then we're looking at our false positive or false negative and true negative to determine our error rate. Whereas like with the profit, we're looking at our false positive and true positive to determine our revenue and costs. So it's using 2 different metrics to assess, you know, and therefore, you know, the model we got out of the misclassification, you know, has the lowest false false negative and true negatives. But if we're looking at revenue of the models, looking at the true positive when they actually did it right, and how much money does that get us from a donor, that it made the forest higher. At least that was kind of my rationale behind it. I don't know, again, if it's right, but it seemed to make sense.
You had different numbers for your table, right? Or you-
Yeah, no, I mine were switched. I guess I was like doing the Tony dyslexic. Just read them wrong, put them on there, but yeah, I have exactly what he has now.
Okay. All right. Now, did you say that your lowest misclassification rate was still the 4 branch 12 deep, but your best profit came from the HP4s?
Exactly.
Okay.
I think it actually, like, if you go do the same math I did, the ranking in that table actually is the ranking in profit.
Yeah. I really do think that's a solid approach. I'm going to do that myself. Basically, I'm going to steal your style. I'm gonna bite right off it.
Hey, the more of us that use it, the more she grades things and says, "Oh,
That's right. Yeah. I mean, if we're all, if we're,
yeah,
if
maybe
we're
I should
all
give them
insane.
credit for this."
That's right. But I am also going to get that clarification about opportunity cost just to make sure. And if I find out anything, I'm going to include you all on that email to her. And if she says anything about it, then we have a chance to adjust before Sunday. Number 6, then provide the plot of the misclassification rate versus number of leaves plot for the selected model based on misclassification. So if we're basing it on misclassification, then we're going to be looking at the 4 branch 12 deep and providing a plot of the misclassification rate versus the leaves. And remember, include your first and last name. Okay.
Yeah, I can walk you through that one. Sally and I worked through that earlier today.
Okay. Yeah. Let me stop sharing.
Oh no, dang! I was just gonna talk you through it.
Yeah, okay. So that's fine. You can.
And now you get your chart.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'll take you up on that. Let me.
Yeah, it's just titled differently in Enterprise Miner. So you go to your 4 branch 12 node, and then get your results. All right, and then go into the view option. And I can't see it yet, right?
Hold on. Let me.
You got the wide screen.
I've got like a 40-inch curve screen, so everything's
All right.
all on.
Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, you go to view.
And then model.
Model, and then it's subtree assessment plot.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
And then you change that little top value to misclassification. And then it has all your stuff. Number of leaves versus misclassification.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was a little lost on that earlier today. Save you all the time.
So lost in the flashlight sometimes, right? Oh. All right. And so now that is
Number 6.
lab 4 Q6.
Yeah, and the rest of them are super simple. It's literally just screenshotting one of those screens that shows up in your results.
All right. So then for number 7, the variable importance. So that is.
Well, if you don't see it, you can go to
Oh, the
view.
gradient boosting. That's right. I have to go to gradient boosting. So gradient boosting results. Variable importance. Oop, don't have a mouse in there. And that is Q7. I'll edit that later. And then provide a screenshot of the variable importance of 2 branch 6 deep. So 2 branch 6 deep, just gonna come up here, go to results. And
I think you can go to the view and then I think it might be
Yeah.
possible.
view model, subtree.
Nope, wrong one.
Oh,
you're like repetition mode.
I know, I got cocky. View
Yeah, second one.
variable importance. Does this one need a name at the bottom? Can you do that? No. Not helpful. All right, so. And that is lab 4Q8. Oops. Stop it. Lab 4Q8 coming at you. Then 9, provide a screenshot of the variable importance for 4 branch 12 deep. Let's see if I can do this without messing up. Variable importance for 4 branch 12 deep. And it's not there, so I'm going to come up here to view and model and variable importance. And then screenshot you. That's lab 4Q9. So then that's going to go. Probably shrink it up a little bit. All right, so number 10, provide a screenshot of the variable importance of the forest model. This really is just about screenshots, isn't it? Variable importance of the forest model, so HP forest.
Yeah, whenever you email her, make sure to say, "We love this lab. More screenshots, please."
Yeah, for real. I think she's cool. I like her. And this is lab 4Q10. And then the last one, looking at the 5 most important variables across all models. What do you think would be the 2 most influential variables? So the 5 most important variables across all models. That means I need to come back here to this model comparison. Does it tell us?
So did anyone, yeah, did anyone else do this question already? I can tell you what I did, but again, I was trying to figure out the right thing.
I did it. I got give count 36 and give time lapse.
Let's see.
to
Yep.
the top.
Yep. I did the same too.
Now, where do you see that?
You had to look at the table on each of those models, the
Yeah.
screenshots that you got.
Oh, okay. That's right. I remember that now. Okay, you were talking about that. The gift count 3.6. The show up in the top 5, and the dim. What was it? Gift time last and gift count 3.6.
Yeah. If you kind of like go through and you try to like,
Yeah.
I don't know, put them all on a table next side by side, you can kind of see it a lot easier.
Yeah,
That those two kind of appear in the top 3 of all 4.
that's right. Gift count 3.6. And gift time last. All right. So really, the only thing that I've got left to do is besides from some formatting, which this is in dire need of some formatting. But I have to do the table on number 4 and number 5, but I will work that out individually.
Yep, sounds good. And
All
then
right.
we'll see what the Dr. George says about opportunity cost.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that email up right now, and about opportunity cost and sunk cost. So I will include you guys on this, and then we'll see what she says. But I really appreciate all of your help and your interaction and going through the quizzes, and I hope it's as helpful for you guys as it is for me.
Yeah, I missed the quiz thing last week, and then everyone on my group was like telling me good things. I was like, dang it.
Well,
It definitely worked this out. I've learned a lot. Yeah. So I know now that I can actually start the quiz before I
yeah,
and walk away. Like
yeah.
I assumed like I had to start it and then I just basically sit on my computer and until I was ready to submit.
Yeah, that's hard. Like trying not to be married to it.
Yeah. And like trying to actually research and read the stuff again.
Did you do well on the quiz? The one that you were flying solo, did you pass it?
Some I do good, some I do bad.
Yeah.
It's really a mixed bag.
Well, I think from now on with this, being in this group environment, it's going to be a lot easier. You'll get your quiz grades up.
Yeah, no.
But have you started kind of getting into your final project yet?
Yep, our group is started.
Okay, yeah, I think
kinda
we're starting.
Did mostly EDA stuff, and we started our business understanding section, and now we're trying to work through the models that we had already gone through in the class, hopefully by next week.
Good job. Yeah, we have to start ours tomorrow, so we're a little bit behind, but we've all been kind of struggling with a bunch of other things.
I don't think we're behind yet. I think as long as you started a model by the midpoint check-in, you're good.
I will say that I'm a bit more behind than where I would like to be, but we're going to be okay. I'm looking at the data. we've got a strong understanding of the stuff in these labs, so that's going to be a big help. So I don't feel behind, but you know, timetables being what they are, especially with 4 weeks left in the class, I'd rather have a little bit more done. But
Yeah,
I've got 2 other classes that I'm juggling on top of this, so I can only do what I can do.
you're an animal.
It's only cool if it works out and I pass all the classes at the end. If I fail, then you know it's one of those epic goat moments. But if I pass, then it was worth it.
That's awesome.
And so far, you know, this is my 3rd semester of 3 classes, so I'm still doing well. But I worry every semester until I get the final grade and it's all done.
Yep. Yeah.
Are you in a master's program, Scott?
Yep. I'm in the
You do the
advanced-
ADTA?
yeah, the advanced analytics one.
Yeah. I'm technically I'm doing the PhD and the ADTA at the same time.
What? You're an animal. Is that a glutton for punishment?
I'm just
You work full time too.
yeah, I work full time. But thankfully, like everything that I'm learning for school applies to the job. So there's a lot of flexibility, and I have time to work on school stuff during the day because it applies directly to my job. But I'm just trying to get it done as quickly as possible. I'm trying to get the whole PhD done in 3 years, 2.5 to be honest with you, but 3 years is probably more realistic. But the ADTA, this class is the last one in the certification. So when I'm done with this class, I'll have completed the entire ADTA thing in 9 months. And then I'll go into my regular core classes and dissertation stuff.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm definitely done after masters.
I said that.
I keep telling people. Oh,
I said I was done too, but I mean, here I am. You know, I said I was done after my master's, but here I am. You know, it's 6 years later, but I'm still here.
Maybe I'll be inspired. Yeah, 6 years later. Now
Yeah, well,
I'm like, you know, doing school and working is totally different than just going and getting your bachelor's and having a part-time job somewhere. No life commitments.
Come talk to me before you like pull the trigger, and that we can say, was it a good idea or a bad idea? You can see like,
right.
do I have any hair left, or you know, am I homeless in the gutter somewhere from overextending myself?
Right.
All right, man. Hey,
All right,
it was good talking to you, and thank you very much for all your help.
Yeah, no worries. See y'all
And
next week.
I'll send out the invitation on Sunday for Sunday. But if you want to join, you're welcome to join. If not, then I'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.